I am Sarah, the project manager for this project from the Alfa Laval site, let's say. And Jonas is the IT/OT manager. We're going to together zoom in a little bit into our case. We heard yesterday and today a lot of kind of perspective from researcher perspective, generalized way of looking at these cases. But today we're going to zoom in into our case from how we handle it from inside the company. So for that, we're going to go through why Upskill project in the very beginning, why Alfa Laval see it's really a great opportunity to be part of this project. And then I'm going to talk about upskilling in action in detail. Then we're going to talk a little bit about after Upskill with Jonas, like feelings, how we feel after this project, and then lessons learned. Yes, why Upskill? Well, Alfa Laval as a transition leader, we see that people and technology leaps is two of main pillars that we have. And we see that Alfa Laval focus on those two factors, and it simply fits with the project goals as well. So we also have some potential of improvement of the way of working in implementing the new technologies. We need to have some kind of framework. So this project will help us to be there as well. This project is digging deeply into people and technology, so it's a perfect match. What is the technology we chose? It was the manufacturing execution system, because it was recently implemented at that time, and there was a lot of challenges around that implementation, if I can say, from human centricity perspective. So we chose that to start with. Yes. So, as we said, upskilling in action, in details. So that's the fun start, let's say. First, analyzing the researcher's result. That's the first thing I did when I got this task. And then creating the training material. We know that there's a training needed. People need to hear more. Communication is needed. Then evaluating the operator's needs. We need to hear from the end users. What do they really need here? And then a plan for the training sessions. When, how we're going to run those sessions. Then run the training sessions in reality, and then evaluating the training sessions. Yeah, upskilling in action, analyzing the researcher's results. For that, I had like three main sources of information when I started, I can say. The first one was the report, the work progress number 4, the trainings. I went very deeply into the everything written here about the trainings needed for our case and for other case, and why do we need such a trainings, who's our audience, and how can we do it, how can we design it. And a lot of discussions happened with MITC also. Then the ethnographic study with Anna Olin. This gave a great value really to me to start with. It was like the light in the tunnel, I call it. She said that the MAZE project and the materiality of resistance. So I feel like, okay, then let's start. And she put those, when I met her in October, I guess, she put those comparison between the manual way of visualizing that we have, the whiteboards, and the MAZE that people are resisting to use this technology. They just don't want to. Then we had also during that period before the first 2 years, there was a black belt project where Peter Wilson was involved in that. And it was aiming to use the data from the system to visualize it. But this attempt didn't really go as it should be because of the data quality. The data quality wasn't good enough. So Peter Wilson wrote also that report, Methodology of Full Implementation of MAZE, and it was extremely added value to me also to start with, looking from data perspective and looking from all the ethnographic study. Yesterday we talked a lot about these, like what was happening, no perceived benefits, soft skills very important, change management skills. Advanced project management is needed to be in place. And also we need to understand the complexity. I'm not going to dive deep into this because you've heard a lot about why we need to move forward with this system, take it from human perspective. But then we knew that we need to do something. We need to take action into trainings. But what is the training? How to start? Where to start from? So I was thinking about search for technology process, and yesterday was a very good question by you, Alice. Where the technology come from? Is it also a human thing? We were not really involved in that stage, if I can call it a stage. It was a decision made by the central team that we're going to go with this system. They did the research based off any of the competitive factors, or maybe all of them together. But yeah, the decision is there anyway in the company. We need to use that system, manufacturing execution system. And my, let's say, going to start in the next step, the technology introduction and installation. When we start to introduce the technology to people, we need to answer some question. Why do we need this technology? What is the benefits of this technology? What are the capabilities that comes with this technology? And a lot of the questions could be framed under kind of MES basic training. I called it like that. And then the other stage, or the next stage, is technical or technology functionality training, I call it here, where the end user need to know how to use this technology, how to use these functionalities. Is it clear to them? Do they have clear instructions? And here we have the next package, manufacturing execution system functionalities training. And this one should be cell-oriented, the end users together. While the first one is more general, the whole factory can know why we need this technology. Then the next question, who's going to maintain this technology? Are we ready to maintain? Do we have people on site to maintain this technology, which is this system? Yeah, well, we need to. We have IT/OT organization, which was also created based on the need that people really have questions while using this system. They cannot every time ask centrally, oh, I have a question. So we need to secure people on site. That competence is really important. Who's going to maintain this? So I was also thinking, we really need a training. Maybe it's called advanced MES training, that we have a training from a support perspective, not as an end user perspective. Then also, this technology is good for today, here and now. Is it still the same after 5 years? So we need to think like that. We need to think ahead. We need to have kind of continuous development to align with our goals. Added other technology, integrated with other system, have AI, how can I think like that? How would this technology be affected by other technologies around it? So maybe we need to think, I call it like development training, but we need to think ahead and keep it as a loop. Anna Olin has a very beautiful explanation here. When I met her, she said, imagine the system as a saddle of a horse, and you take that saddle and you try to fix its size, and you come back to the horse and doesn't fit, the horse gets fat. so if the system is the saddle, it needs to be really adaptable to the different things that is happening in the system, in the company or in the factory. The horse is our factory. So can I call this technology roadmap? I don't know, maybe. Search for it, introduce it, make sure to answer the why, the how, the who will maintain it, and then make sure to continue, improve it with time. Can I call these stages is the technology implementation stages? I cannot say that any technology is implemented without at least having these in place. Maybe. Can I say that this is a closed loop, that I should always think about what do we need according to our targets and taking human perspective into place? By the way, when I wrote this the first time, I wrote Industry 4.0, and then it was Peter Wilson 5.0. So I was like, yes, we need to take into consideration that. So that's really a closed loop, because based on our needs, how to search for a new technology. But also yesterday, Chris Lance said something really important. I might add it, even before number 1, I can call it 0. Experiments with technology. Just test the technology for the sake of fun, without any expectations. That would end up maybe with that again. So I might add that 0 level. Yes, so we had that in our minds. I'm sorry for that bad coloring, but anyway. We end up that we need these kind of trainings in place. Basic training, functionality training, advanced training, and development training. But let's go back to the report. It was so important report, really, that gives me a very good indications. Like how I'm going to map these packages with the requirements that was suggested in that report. It was suggested a bunch of trainings. We really cannot like have them all. It's going to be too much. So I was thinking the general one can cover the manufacturing control, the benefit awareness, and the dashboard definitions. We can include that in the slides. The cell-oriented, the functionality training could cover the software training that people are sitting and train, and the dashboard training also, what appears in the system if you use this functionality or that, how the system is integrated. So, yeah. The third one is like the system training, and it's for like the IT/OT team. And what we noticed that while we were preparing for this one was happening anyway. Because when you teach something, you learn it. So when we were helping operators to use the system, we are getting better knowledge about the system. And even from their questions and from the discussions that happens during the trainings. So we need to start with, not all of them, at least we need to start with some of them. So we started with the basic training and the functionality training. MITC and Katarina, she's with us here today. She's very close to create the material. Who's going to give it? Where are we going to give it? How many attendants? How many people? Is the classroom? Is it on the shop floor? All these questions. Yes, evaluating the operator needs. That was really interesting. When I was, okay, I have asked the researchers. I tried to kind of brainstorm and together collaboration with MITC, creating the training material. We are in the third now step. The third step says that I want to step back a little bit, go to the shop floor, ask the operators, is that what you need? Is that what I saw? That what the researchers said? I'm now on your side, on the side of the operator. Is that what you really need? And one of the questions, I had a questionnaire. One of the questions was, how do you evaluate your competence in the manufacturing execution system? Maybe I didn't mention that here, that this system was implemented in 2021. But it was resisted. And now we are in 2026. And now people are curious and excited, hopefully, to use it. You will hear more from Jonas about that. But let's say some of them, they said very good, because some of them were anyway curious. When the system was there, they were trying. So they said, I'm learning by doing. So they were trying. And there was really training before. I cannot say there was training, there was workshops, there was things happening. But how can we do it in another way? That was the question. That was my concern, that I don't just repeat things. I see what happened before, how can we do it in a different way? Some of them said, I didn't receive enough training. So there was training, but not enough. Okay, what do you mean, not enough? Some of them said, I wish my manager would take a training course with me so I can ask him. The middle managers, yeah, that's a good point. Let's have them with us. I don't know the purpose of the system. Then it will be covered. I don't know, I know the purpose of the system, but we're not utilizing it all to the max. So maybe they need to know the capabilities, they need to know where are we from that kind of utilization. There's a lot of functionalities. Yeah, so I took a lot of good inspiration from their feedback, to be honest. And there were also something I didn't wrote here. They are using ERP system. And some of them told me that we have a system anyway, why we do need another system? So I was like, good point. We need to distinguish the different systems. What is this for? What is this for? And what is the value from each of them? So that was really a very important step, to step back and hear from the operators. So 60% of those randomly selected people, I didn't interview them all, they're 140, but a randomly selected said, average, I would like some training. 10% said, I don't use the system at all. I need a lot of trainings. So that's understandable. Plan for the training sessions, that was challenging, really. There was a lot of cells, 142 people, and there was some kind of condition, if I can call it, that we want them to know the why first. So I want them to have the basic training first, then the functionality training, then the how. That makes more sense. Then also, And by the way, that suggestions come from one of the middle managers, because I asked for their advice. What do you think? And they said, I want the operators to take this first. And I was like, yes, we're going to do it. And then the second thing was the basic training, where we are talking about the why. I wanted to be from different cells in the factory to have a different discussion, a certain level of discussion. But the how, the functionality, I wanted to be cell-oriented, every cell alone, because it's connected to the way they work. So that discussion should be according to the system and the way they work. So what we did, and the factory manager said, I don't want these trainings to take a long time, like a year. That was in my mind. She said, I want it as a campaign, the autumn, 3 months, 142 operators. And it was like, yes, let's do it. So what we did is we make it as rounds. The first round was started with 2 basic trainings mixed with from different cells. The first one was pilot. I remember Katarina and Olin also attended the first pilot, because I really was keen to hear their perspective as a third eye. And also then those people were distributed into a single, followed by functionality trainings, 5 to 8 max per session here, and here around 20 people to 25. Second round, also done. The same logic, 2 basic training, then those people will be having the functionality trainings, and the third session. Then we're having kind of milestone, where are we from the plan? How many people are planned to attend? How many people are attending? The attendance is amazing. People really liked it, and they want really to attend and come and see. And we're done almost with all the production. Now we are here actually. Tomorrow we're supposed to have something. The planning department, we're curious to be there and have the functionality and the basic training to know about the system. Because if we look at the automation pyramid, the ERP, MES in the middle, so it's connected. So they wanted to know what kind of data I can look at the system and make me plan in a better way. So they took the trainings. And the night shift will be also covered. So, training durations was from August until February. 140 operators done for the basic training, 127 operators done for the functionality training. And the night shift will be covered in March, to be honest, so it's March 2026. Yes, now we're going to the action, run the training session. So first, the why. As you see, it's like a big room with different people from different departments. And who's giving it? The management team. From the factory manager to the production manager to the production technology manager, supply chain manager, everyone has its section, says how this system can add value to me from my perspective. And also we were talking about the change management that happens during that time. A lot of insights and discussions happened in these rooms, and the main thing was we want to increase the communication between the management and the operators. They were so happy to be in the same room. I mean, they felt that their voices heard and that they are there to support them, to answer them. It was a hidden message that the management is really supportive. They are there. They are here to train them. And it's like 3 hours or 3.5 hours per session. We have done 6 sessions, and this is the 7th one now. So it's a huge amount of hours, I can say. Also, we want to show the system benefits and capabilities and be more transparent. This is where we are. This is what we do. And then they start to look at, oh, there is a checklist functionality. I have something that I can use that. They start to see how can they use the system. And then also I want to build the trust and increase the knowledge, or even make knowledge transfer. Simply, we want to motivate people with those trainings. This is the why. The how was more in smaller group. Here I want the communication to be with the system support and the operator, the people who can maintain and answer the questions when it pops up. When something happens, I can't use this functionality, I can't do this. Please ask, we are here to support you. So they were also, and few things, very interesting things happened here, that some people know things that we didn't know by just playing with the system all these years. And we were like, oh, you can do that, thank you. And I take the note from the operator. So it's really amazing discussions happened here. Here we also have made sure that every functionality has its instructions. So they are confident. They are not afraid to use the system. What if I make mistake? It's okay. Here's the SOP. Look at it. Ask. We are here for you. So yeah, basically we want to increase the knowledge here. Yes, at the same time, how is the time, by the way? Okay, at the same time, we want to, upskilling in action. We are evaluating the trainings right away. After every, I went to back old schools. After every session, I put like questionnaire, please answer, because if I send the link, they might answer, they might not. So please make, so from the basic training, like 14% said it's excellent, 61% said it's good, 23% from all those 140 people attended said it's average, 1% said poor, 1% said very poor. And then from the functionality training, which was really needed and added value, 47% said it's excellent, 49% said it's good, 1% said average, and I think this by mistake said very poor. No, I'm just kidding. So they were so really happy, and we were happy really too. Are we done? Are we finished? No. There is another project coming after that, hypercare, where we are going to make sure that they are using it on a daily basis, just 3 months. And then we're going to hand it over to the middle managers, and with the support, of course. Yeah, some quotations, positive ones, many new concepts under the section of Lean Digital Factory. This is one of our goals, so they get to know. We kind of unified what are we looking at, the same goal. So let's all together go there. No suggestions for improvement, but very clear visual go through, and I'm so happy with this. Now we're going to listen to Jonas from his perspective, how he look at the feelings after Upskill.
Okay, so I mean, I've been working in Alfa Laval for, I think, 13 years now, and I have been in the production as well, so I know the frustration we had for many years when we implement things from the central perspective, but we don't understand the need from the operators. So what we have learned so far, that we started to have an organization that can be closer to the production, to see the needs and to listen to them. Also, it's been more clear on where we're going. But I would like to highlight the awareness that we have reached. Because when we start doing this education, I'm going to be honest, I was terrified. Because I know the frustration. I know the lack of trust. I know that part. So we're going to get a lot of, not angry operators, but not so motivated to be in the classroom. But as soon as we started, and when we end up going from the classroom, they changed my whole perspective. They were happy. They started to understand why we need this and how important it is. And now when we explain the functionalities and try to adapt it to scenarios they are familiar with, they started to see the benefit from this kind of functions. You can go to the next slide.
Oh, yeah.
So the questions we always need to ask ourselves every time is, what is the technology? Why do I need this technology? And how I will use this technology? And who will support this technology? It doesn't matter what system we are using or where we are supposed to go. And the most important thing that I always have in my mind, it needs to be user-friendly. Who decides if it is user-friendly? It is the central team in Lund or the operators that are going to use the system. That's why we need to be closer and we need to listen. Very important. So with this journey and this project, I believe that we have found a framework for how we should proceed with technology implementation, involving people in the implementation. We have a side step that we have an analog magnet board to see where the production orders are in the flow. We invited academia to do a small project, and they are working closely to the operators. Operators that said to me 2 years ago, you can try to digitalize this, but you would not succeed. And the students took this task together with the operators, and now the operators saying, you have found something better than we have, and we want it now. So we succeed to turn this, and I believe it is because we involved the operators. And we listened to them, and we made something from their input. And we are supposed to give them training whenever they need training, create instructions and so on. And we need to take small steps at a time, and we need to have the management support and follow up, and of course, closer collaboration with academia and so on. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so super, perfect timing. And questions, very enthusiastic hands. Alison first and then Irina.
So impressed. Amazing work, exemplary, and explained so clearly, so thank you very much. Sarah, early on in your presentation, you said a remark that caught my attention, which was, it was like a light in a tunnel.
Yes.
And I think it was to do with your interaction with somebody on the project team. So what I'm curious about is you suddenly knew something which you had not known. So what was it that you knew and how did you come to know it?
Yes.
Is that, am I making myself clear?
Yeah, I mean, you mean like how I knew something through the beginning of the investigation, analyzing the researchers, let's say, feedback, and that thing helped me to take smaller steps. Yes, actually it was, and I'm really thankful and grateful for Anna, Peter, and also with MITC they did. But when I sat with Anna and she was like telling me stories from her ethnographic studies, she's telling me like, I saw an operator listening to a machine. How can we digitalize that? She take me to a totally other perspective. I was graduated thinking like technology is so good. Let's automate, let's minimize time. But the feeling, how can we digitalize it? How can we digitalize experience? So that helps me to say that it's not a replacement. It's the sweet point, if I can say, sweet spot. It's the combination between the experience and what this technology can add. Both together. So the human being will use this technology, not be replaced by this technology, from what I get and I understood from the ethnographic study. Also, Peter highlighted a lot of things about the data and the system and the importance of visualization. If you see, then you can know where's the problem. So we need to start somewhere visualizing. So these two things, I can say, these two insights, helped me so much.
Yeah, thank you. Fantastic talks, and how lovely to hear from companies involved in research with academics, and how nice that you have gained something of value from it. As academics, we're occasionally insecure and we think that as soon as we've gone, the companies are going, thank heavens they're out. Oh, they were so bad. But how lovely to hear of a successful collaboration.
Yes. Very much.
I have a suggestion and a question, and the suggestion is probably targeted at the academics, and it's the importance of consent. Because I don't think any new things are introduced into workplaces without consent of the workforce, and that's so often forgotten. Mm-hmm. And the question to you is, did you a lot of this is about what you did with the workers. Did you adapt anything, what you were doing, in response to what they were saying? I've done research with some colleagues in the fire and rescue services, and we looked at the introduction of new breathing apparatus, new technology, really useful. Chalkboards no longer necessary. The firefighters carried on using chalkboards because they felt safer.
Yeah.
And after a few years, senior management actually adapted standard operating procedures to say, use both. Because if you feel safer going into a burning building when there's also a chalkboard as well as your very sophisticated breathing apparatus, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, to answer that question, actually, I have two things, if I can categorize it in two things. From the trainings, I directly responded to their needs and in the creating the training content, so that the basic training was more or less answer their concerns and questions, and I'm not sure, I don't know. So all the answers indirectly come in the basic training. So it was direct reaction to their needs. But now, in the hypercare project that we're going to take it directly after these trainings, we are going to go deeply into the practice in a daily basis. You're using this functionality. How do you use it? Is it good for you? Then I'm not going to say, okay, we did the trainings, please take it, and you need to do it. So we're back to square one. But actually, these hypercare, where we are really down to the factory with them, looking at their needs, adapting their needs, to have that balance. Should we change the way we work? Should we adapt with the system? Because the system also should be kind of flexible to adapt with their needs. So this is going to happen in the coming few months, hopefully. Yes.
I know you mentioned the academics there, Irina, but we could perhaps pick that part of the conversation up over lunch because we have other questions.
So hi, my name is Sasha. I work for IF Metall, the Swedish Industrial Workers Union. Thank you for an interesting talk. You talked about management and operators.
Yes.
We represent the workers at Alfa Laval. Were our local reps involved in the talks, and did you, it would be interesting to hear about their involvement in this project as well.
Yes. The first thing we did before I go down to the shop floor is to ask the union actually about the questionnaire, about the questions I'm going to ask them. And they were part of that. And even the way that we are going to introduce questions, it was totally free, like, would you like to answer? Do you have some time? And the type of questions was revised by people. So they were involved and part of the questionnaire, even preparation or answering to it. Yes. Do you have other?
There's several stages where when we the microphone.
Sorry.
So when they implemented the system the first time, there was a lot of discussions with the union. And of course, some of them was, is this a system to monitor the workers and how much they work and if they are going to the bathroom and so on. But that wasn't the intention. But how can we explain that? So there have been a lot of discussion. They have been highly involved in the whole journey. But I believe when we took over and tried to connect more, we have the system already. We have the functionalities already. But how can we connect the workers to adapt to the system? And I believe we have started to turn this ship around in a better way with a lot of more understanding. Still a lot of frustrations, but I think we're going in the right direction. And it is, of course, with a dialogue with union and the workers and the management and so on. Yes.
That's great, and I think a really interesting way to wrap up actually as well, because that dialogue is also a way in which a lot of the lessons that we've learned from these projects can also spread, where things do work well. The unions are really important partners in sort of sharing those more broadly across the manufacturing sector, and I think that's resonates across several of the cases. So that's wonderful. I'd just like to thank Sarah and Jonas again very much for a wonderful presentation. Then we can switch over to Banu.
Thank you so much.